Greetings, Jedi Wayfarers and Sith Mystics. You are cordially invited to another episode of Reading with the Revanchist, where I will read you a story set in the Star Wars Expanded Universe. So, without further ado, grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and allow me to whisk you to a galaxy far, far away. Delicious.
Today we'll be reading The Tale of the Aiwha Pod by Ryan Kaufman, translated from the original Kaminoan. Before the dawn of the second sun, there dwelt beneath the oceans a magical god-beast. He was called Protas, for he was the first and only of his kind, a god and a beast, and the ruler of all animals beneath the surface. Protas was strong, stronger than any living beast, and mystical. He had powers beyond comprehension. But as it is in the waters, there were many who sought to take his place, to claim the title and honors of being the most powerful beast of the open seas. First came Melkor, son of the deep waters, a dark titan, with sharp hunter's teeth and fins like volcanic mountains. He challenged Protas openly.
"Protas, meet me in battle, and we shall decide who is the ruler of this blue kingdom."
Protas met Melkor upon the ridge of Thelina, and there they fought. For 6 nights and 6 days they roiled the seas, brawled and grappled, wrestled and dueled. Melkor, with his power and size, sought to overwhelm Protas. But Protas was quick and agile, and he turned Melkor's power back upon the deep-sea creature. On the 7th day, Melkor tired, and in his exhaustion faltered. Protas felled him. The seas churned with his blood, and the fish were fed for an eon on his carcass. Protas continued to rule the oceans. He was next challenged by a sentient group of Kikla swimmers. The Kikla were tiny, but they were legion, and they challenged him.
"Protas, meet us in battle. Through our sheer numbers we will overcome you."
Protas met the vast swarm of Kikla in the deepest waters of the ancient trench, and there they fought. For a month they swarmed and struggled, swam and battled. The Kikla in their vast numbers sought to outlast Protas, but Protas was strong and single-minded, and he scattered the school and slowly ate them, thus maintaining strength through the long battle. The Kikla were quarrelsome and inconsistent, and when they struck, their tiny teeth gave little wound. Finally, at the new moon, Protas gobbled the last of the tiny Kikla, and they were no more. Now, by this time, Protas had grown old and arrogant in his power. He knew that none could oppose him, and he wielded his authority freely. One day, he met an Aiwha Pod, who were swimming to the South Seas for winter. Protas blocked their way.
"You cannot pass. Go back to the North Seas and freeze."
The Aiwha were puzzled.
"Why, Master Protas?"
they asked. The old god laughed.
"Because it pleases me."
The Aiwha knew they could not return, that they would surely die in the North Seas. We must fight, they told themselves, and so they did. But being Aiwha, and not desirous of glory and fame, they did not announce their challenge to Protas in the manner of the old ways. Instead, they simply and swiftly attacked. First, like the Kikla, they swarmed him, and Protas scattered them, and then, like Melkor, they used their jaws to rip at his flesh, but Protas's hide was tough, and they could not strike a killing blow. But then the Aiwha returned, swarming like the Kikla and attacking like Melkor. They were fierce, but not large. They were numerous, but single-minded. Thus, the Aiwha, after a time, began to bleed Protas. But they could not bring him down. One of the Aiwha saw that the god-beast had exposed his soft throat, and sacrificing himself, charged and clamped down hard with his jaws. Protas bellowed in agony, feeling the life force ebb away from him, and smashed at the lone Aiwha's body with his fins. But even in death, the brave Aiwha hung on, never letting go, to allow his friends to strike at Protas a final time. And thus did a pod of Aiwha end an elder god's life. And that is why, to this day, the Aiwha rule the oceans, and are accorded a measure of respect even among the largest, most powerful, and most plentiful beasts. For the Aiwha, desiring no glory, defeated the monster god Protas, and brought peace to the oceans of Kamino. I hope you've enjoyed this reading of the Tale of the Aiwha Pod.